Hello, people. It's your boy Osman back again with another Manchester United transfer news. The first one of the window. The window isn't even open, but we're getting ahead of schedule. Make sure you slap a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. My socials are on screen. We're going to talk Mason Mount, Declan Rice, Harry Kane, and more. As always, make sure you get your questions in, get your comments in, support your boy any way, shape, or form. And of course, if this is the kind of content you want to see in the foreseeable future, drop a like on the video. That's the only way I'm going to know. I don't even know how many likes. I think we got 14 in the last video, which is brilliant. Given only 40 watch time. Thank you to every single one of you that liked the video. I appreciate it. And obviously, you know, I keep continuing to make content for you lovely people. Anyways, enough waffling. Let's flipping get into it. Mason Mount agrees personal terms for Manchester United. I, for one, was absolutely fuming when I seen this news last night. I mean, I was pissed off, to say the least. If you follow me on Twitter, you will know that. If you know me on a personal level in the WhatsApp groups, you definitely know that. I was absolutely livid. I was not hearing or listening to any reasoning surrounding Mason Mount and his transfer or potential transfer to Manchester United. First and foremost, let's start with the basics. Mason Mount has agreed personal terms according to a number of sources with Manchester United. Since that speculation has come out last night, there hasn't really been too much to back that up. Fabrizio Romano has come out and tweeted essentially that there is a bit of truth into it, but he kind of didn't really give much of a detailed answer per se. And David Ornstein similar to Fabrizio Romano. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I don't think it's going to be a matter of Mason Mount and his desire to come to Manchester United. I think the issues are going to be pretty much regarding the price tag. I mean, that is one of my biggest concerns regarding the Mason Mount saga, amongst many things, but that being the biggest one. How are we going to agree a fee with Chelsea Football Club when they are wanting the upwards of 85 million euros? Yes, you heard me correctly. 85 million euros for Mason Mount. Are you flipping smoking? What is that about? Absolutely baffling. We got a comment here from Friday Night Counter. Bro, I am in the corners of Rasmus Højlund. Speculation as well, very shortly, my brother. But before that, let's just get to Mason Mount. Ryan is in the building as well. Oh my God, Ryan, I've seen your tweets, bro. You're making me depressed. In case you're not aware, Ryan is a Liverpool player. Big up to you, my bro. I appreciate you coming through. Yeah. Enjoy money, mates, as it's shit all next season. Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Oh, dear God. Anyways, as I was saying, it's fair to say I lost my shit last night when I saw the news because, look, there's too many facets to it. I'm going to dissect, obviously, as much as I can. The first one, of course, being the price tag. I mean, how is he worth more than 50 million? He's come off an absolutely atrocious season. Granted, you know, it's an anomaly given the career trajectory he has had thus far. But nevertheless, you know, you can't dispute that his price has quite clearly dropped, or should have dropped, off the back of the season. Secondly, he's only got 1 year left. And thirdly, he's essentially refused a contract at Chelsea, basically rendering them in a position where they have to sell him. So they've got no power. The power is in Manchester United, and somehow Todd Bowley is trying to ask for 85 million. And what universe is he worth 85 million? Even at his peak, 85 million is a push, in my opinion. 70 million at his pomp. I'm talking when he's flying. 70 million max. 85 million. Are you taking the piss? 85. Honest to God, I'm hoping that we get priced out. Basically, that is my hope because I know Ten Hag wants him. There's a lot of reports coming out suggesting Ten Hag wants him. You know, I don't even know why. I really don't know why you want him, man. But that aside, shout out to Mohsen as well, who's joined as well. Even to you, my brother. Hopefully you're well. Thank you for always supporting the channel. I appreciate you a lot. But yeah, coming back to that, I don't know why he wants him. So that is one, you know, completely different topic. But I'm hoping Chelsea prices that. Basically, that's my only hope. I do not want Mason Mount, and I'm going to explain that very shortly. But let's just get this comment in. Does this show that Ten Hag's long-term style at United is a positional play system? Because you can't have man. This is the point. Basically, it's pretty much confirmed that Ten Hag is not trying to play possession-based football because Bruno Mount, as the ace, advanced ace, whatever you want to call it, Lord have mercy on that ball retention. I mean, I've spoken to Chelsea fans and they're saying, Mason Mount's ball retention isn't as bad. Listen, I ain't hearing it. He goes consistently. We needed somebody that's not scared to get on the ball. I wanted a Thiago Alcantara kind of player. I wanted a bloody Frankie de Jong kind of player, a Barella, a Casado, someone of that ilk who's going to get their foot on the ball and try to dictate tempo. That kind of thing. Declan Rice, I'll be more than happy and I will touch on that shortly. But the point being is, I wanted a player that's going to get their foot on the ball and control the game. And Michael Carragher, as you would, Mason Mount is not that guy. I mean, he definitely brings something to the team. Personally, I don't want it. But it's not what I want, of course. I know that's going to be the most common comment. It's not about what you want, back the manager, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you don't have to agree with everything that Erik ten Hag says and does. That's my personal opinion. At the end of the day, he's getting paid the big money to make the big decisions. He's going to have to live and die by his sword. I really hope, I'm wrong and I'm holding my hands up saying I got egg on my face because Mason Mount has proved me wrong. But the truth of the matter is, I don't think that Mason Mount is a good signing for Manchester United, regardless of the price tag. I don't think it's a player we should be going for. Granted, he might come in and be one of maybe two midfielders, but nevertheless, I just think he's massively overrated. I think he's overhyped. Granted, he has got talent. I'm not denying that. And I do think he put up good numbers. But in terms of what you want from your football team, is it going to consistently deliver at the highest level? People will say he's done it in the Champions League finals, man. I mean, I understand that. But that doesn't mean you're a top quality player. I mean, fair play to him. You've got to respect that. And I can't take that away from him. But nevertheless, he hasn't done it week in, week out with Chelsea. There's a reason why Chelsea are allowing one of their younger prospects and one of their academy boys to, leave. A lot of the fans are basically begging for him to leave. I mean, he's great. He's great. He's great in the tight spaces. He's great on the turn. He's got a great shot on him. Like I said, he'll put up numbers. He's great off the ball. He does have a lot of pros to his game. Don't get me wrong. And in the advanced state, he could massively flourish for Manchester United. But as Ryan is saying, it basically says that we are not playing a possession-based football. We are going to probably play more similar to what Liverpool do, which is very much, high press, middle of the park, and rely very much on our fullbacks. Be it all inverted fullbacks in this scenario. And hopefully we can step up. I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting. It's not the way I wanted Ten Hag to play football, but again, it doesn't really matter what I want as long as Ten Hag has got a plan. And he's sticking to that. I have said consistently, buy the players that the manager wants to suit the system. And if he feels Mason Mount is that guy, then so be it. Who am I to say otherwise? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just a football fan sat in my room talking football. You know what I'm saying? What do I know, as you guys would say? So, yeah, look, end of the day, I'm not happy. That's my personal opinion. More than happy to hold my hands up if I'm wrong. I've got egg on my face in 12 months' time. I would love that. More than anything, I don't want to sit here in 12 months' time and say, I told you so, was it wrong signing, yada, 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 because that would mean Manchester United failing on the pitch. And of course, I would never want that to be the case. But yeah, so regarding Mason Mount, it's quite apparent I do not want him. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Mason Mount is a good sign for Manchester United? And what do you think his price tag is? I, for one, just want to add as well, I don't think we should be paying more than 45 million for him. I have tweeted out saying 40 million, but I think that's probably a bit unrealistic given the fact that he's an English player. Automatically, at least 10 million to his price tag. I think 45 million would still be a good valuation for this day and age. Again, not my number one, not even my number two, not even my number three, but nevertheless, 10 out wants him. It is where it is. Another comment from Rian saying that Casemiro is going to have a big job to do with that midfield with Mount and Bruno. Absolutely. One thing I will say though, in Mount's defense and obviously Bruno's defense, granted, they can be a bit reckless on the ball, but to be fair to them, they are, workhorses off the ball. So they're definitely going to, Mount is definitely going to help us win the ball further up the pitch consistently. I mean, his work rate is second to none, and that's something you can't deny. I mean, he does come across like a very much, very much a nice guy and a proper professional as well. So from that perspective, there are positives. Obviously, he's not the worst player that we've been with by all means. But yeah, as I've already mentioned, not my number one choice. Anyways, moving on from that, let's just quickly answer the question before we go into Declan Rice. Shout out to Friday Night Counter Attack. Thank you, my brother, for the comment. Thoughts on Rasmus Højlund? Listen, I'm going to, straight out of the gate, I'm not going to say I know a lot about him. I know, obviously, 20-year-old striker, Danish descent, and of course he plays for Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. But listen, I've only seen comps of him. I'm not going to sit here and BS you and say I've seen week in, week out footage. I've spoken to people that feel more confident about discussing him. But listen, what I will say about Højlund is, from what I have seen, listen, he's got that striker's instinct. He's got that ability to get himself in the right place to score goals. I mean, that is something we are lacking. I mean, he's got that killing instinct, that striking instinct, similar to what Cavani had, essentially. He senses danger, senses the opportunities to score goals, and he has got a good movement in the box. All things that we do not currently have within our crop of attackers. I mean, we are crying out for a number 9. I personally want Harry Kane. I think that it goes without saying. But Højlund would be a fantastic, fantastic addition. From what I have seen, he looks like he's got a lot of potential. And the price tag is roughly 50 million. I personally think we could probably get him for less. 40 million would be a good price for him. But again, our negotiation skills are absolutely horrific. What I will say regarding the Højlund thing is he has just signed on to the same agency as Erik ten Hag, meaning that deal would be extremely easy to make happen, obviously, depending on whether we want it to happen, of course. But look, I know people will say Gakpo was on the same one, but I don't personally think we were in for Gakpo. Good signing for Liverpool, but it doesn't seem like we were interested. But yeah, Rasmus Højlund, he does look like a massive, massive potential. And I, for one, I think he's worth a punt. Look, everyone's going to say Kane, Osherman. Again, there's other players, Vlahovic, Goncalo Ramos, I forgot his name. Ramos, what the hell am I about? The Portuguese Donny that obviously replaced Ronaldo in the World Cup. Yeah, so there are a couple of names that, we have been linked with, etc., etc. But yeah, Højlund, I think for me, could definitely be a worthy punt. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But like I said, the fact that he signed onto the agency definitely makes it more easier for us. And his movement is fantastic from what I've seen. I mean, look, there's only so much you can see from a comp, of course. I mean, and most players can look good in a comp. I'm sure you can even make Herreros look half decent. But time will tell. It's big boots to fill. I don't think he'll be the big signing in terms of striker. If we are to get him, hypothetically speaking, we would need another one. I don't really want to put that kind of pressure on a 20-year-old to lead the line for Manchester United, to be delivering those kind of numbers week in, week out. I think that would be a massive mistake on our part. But nevertheless, I'm open to him as a signing. I mean, he would be a fantastic scoop in terms of talent, and it's up to, obviously, the manager to get the best out of him. But yeah, keep getting comments in. Obviously, if you are watching this on repeat, please do slap a like in the video, and of course subscribe to the channel if these are the kind of videos you like me to do more often. Obviously, there's going to be a lot to talk about this summer window. I mean, there's a lot going on with the owners, and Manchester United, as always, are linked to every single person on the planet. So obviously I can make this more of a regular thing. Please do let me know if you're watching that's repeat. And of course, the best way to do that is, of course, slapping a like on the video. And then last but not least, as you can see from the title, Declan Rice close to Manchester United. Is that true, or is that speculation? I, for one, do think there is a bit of truth in the Declan Rice speculation. One thing I will say is, what I do know to be the truth is that his sibling, his brother, wants him to join Manchester United. I know he's that for a fact. And also when that spoke, I mean, look, it's quite obvious you could join the dots if you watch the show, if you watch my channel. But nevertheless, a good friend of mine has basically told me that, and I trust their word, essentially. Obviously, that is my source on that matter. But yeah, anyways, his brother wants him to join Manchester United, and his father has come out, according to certain sources, saying that he's open talks with Manchester United. But look, I, for one, have been extremely consistent with Declan Rice. I think he'll end up at Arsenal. I think Declan Rice to Arsenal makes perfect sense. They need to replace Partey. Partey, towards the back end of the season, kind of fell off a cliff to an extent. I mean, he's getting on in terms of age. He's touching 30. Declan Rice, is one of the best DMs in the league. Can also play in an 8 at an advanced 8. I mean, he's spoken out personally saying that he does prefer playing a bit further forward as well, or he relishes the opportunity to do so. And just to add a bit more goals to his game. So he has that versatility. He would be an absolute scoop for any team in the Premier League. I think he's an absolute no-brainer. He's definitely going to move this summer. With 1 year left on his contract, I would imagine he'd push for a move. And I think he'd go to Arsenal personally. Look, it would be great to sign him for anyone. Hopefully it's Manchester United that he's interested in. Hopefully his brother and his dad can essentially convince him. His dad is actually his agent as well, in case you're not aware. But yeah, for me, Declan Rice, top quality player. There's no denying that. I mean, he's proven that he has absolutely tore up this season. Granted, West Ham haven't been brilliant, but Declan Rice has still shone through. Even last season, he was fantastic as well. I mean, he's proven. We all know about Declan Rice. I don't need to go on about it. But yeah, regarding the potential of him coming to Manchester United, I do think the money again. I don't know where we're going to get the money to fund all these signings. I've got to be honest. If you are interested in Mason Mount and Declan Rice, it would be interesting. I know they're very close mates with Luke Shaw. They're always together as a three. I mean, I put out a tweet basically suggesting that Agent Shaw is on the case, somewhat tongue-in-cheek, of course, but there may be truth to that, who knows. But yeah, Declan Rice would be a great addition to the team. Obviously, if Mason Mount comes as well as Declan Rice, it would be great for the English quota. But just in terms of talent, man, I think Declan Rice is levels above a lot of players in the league. He's got a big potential, and he's got leadership qualities as well. I mean, he was so for England time and time again. He stepped up. I think he would be a great addition to the team. Also allows Casemiro the opportunity to rest, and also can play in the 8 alongside him. So I think he gives us so much versatility. Will be a fantastic signing. He would probably be one of my number one signings, if not number 2. I think Caicedo probably just pips him personally. But nevertheless, Declan Rice is up there. But like I said, I do think he'll end up at Arsenal. I've just got a feeling that I can just see him in the Arsenal kit. I can't see him in a United shirt for some reason. Arsenal have looked to put in a bid. Fabrizio Romano tweeted earlier today that Declan Rice and Arsenal are negotiating, but most importantly, also looking to put in a first bid. So it'll be interesting to see what happens regarding the Declan Rice saga. Do you think it's a likelihood of him joining Manchester United? I think he's definitely more likely to join Arsenal than United. I'd probably say 70% Arsenal, 30% United if he is to leave this summer. Hopefully that 30% comes to light, because he would be a fantastic signing. I mean, Declan Rice and Harry Kane obviously answer the English quota, but also bring a lot of quality to this team. They would be brilliant signings. I, for one, do not want Mason Mount. I think I made that apparent. Højlund, for me, would be a great addition. I do think he's worth a punt, as I've already said. Shout out to United Way, always supporting. And as United Way said, make sure we slap a like and subscribe to the channel. As always, make sure you support your boy. Thank you to everyone that does tune in. But before I wrap it up, also just want to quickly talk about Kane. Obviously, get your comments in if you're still watching live. Regarding Harry Kane, it's going to be interesting because Karim Benzema looks to be on his way to Saudi Arabia to join Al Ittihad. I don't remember which team it was. Nippon is in the chat. Nippon, chat to me about Mason Mount, please. Just give me your thoughts. Just give me your thoughts on Mason Mount. I'll put on the screen. But big up to you. Thank you, bro, for tuning in as always. But yeah, Harry Kane. Let's talk about Harry Kane very quickly. Karim Benzema, it looks like he could be on his way to Saudi Arabia, as I've just alluded to, which opens up an opportunity of a lifetime for Harry Kane to join Real Madrid. Yes, that might sound ridiculous, but it makes perfect sense. Harry Kane, number 9, slotting straight in, covering Benzema's tracks. I think it would make perfect sense. I mean, if I'm Harry Kane and I'm, weighing up my options, I'm definitely taking the opportunity at Real Madrid. Yes, people say he probably wants to break the record, but listen, how many opportunities in life do you get to play for one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest, almost guaranteed to win trophies? The plaudits that he would get there, take his game to the next level. I just think that's a no-brainer for Kane if he's got ambition. Of course, from a selfish perspective, I hope he doesn't obviously take that on, because I really want to see what Manchester United. I mentioned Højlund there, but in terms of profile, I think Harry Kane is a perfect fit for any system, let alone our system. I mean, he would elevate us to another level, and as Nippon has somewhat to tongue-in-cheek said, Harry Kane would be an upgrade on what Weghorst. I think that goes without saying. But yeah, let's get a Chelsea fan's perspective. Mount will be a good bench option for you, but not starting quality. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Bench option. I mean, he would be a good bench option and a good rotation option, but I don't really want to be paying that kind of money for a rotation option. We're not Liverpool. Sorry, we're not Manchester City, that they have the luxury of putting 40 million down for Kovacic or Phillips to sit him on the bench and not really play him. We need starters. We need players to come into the first team that have quality and essentially put our first team players onto the bench. That's the way it needs to go. So hypothetically speaking, Declan Rice coming in and Eriksen basically making his way to the bench. That would be the best case scenario. We can't really, we can't really afford to just buy squad players for the sake of it. I have also said I want Min Jae, sorry. And people will say he's a squad option. Listen, he's an absolute no-brainer for us to sign. The guy is absolutely unreal, and I actually think he would displace Varane in time. Varane is, of course, 30, if I'm not mistaken. Top quality centre back, but we need to be looking to get another player in there to challenge Varane for his spot. And Min Jae is sensational on the ball. So yeah, people may say he's a squad option, but he could quite easily become a first teamer, as could Mason Mount, of course. But in the midfield department, more so the centre back, we desperately need a midfielder to come in and make that spot their own, rather than potentially challenge for that spot. We still got Van der Beek there. I don't think he's going to get sold anytime soon. We've still got other players that could potentially sit on the bench. I don't really think I want Mount to do that. But yeah, listen, that has been your transfer show. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Quick 20 minutes one. Obviously, I thought, let me just drop in, get my thoughts out regarding all things Manchester United. If you like these kind of videos, make sure you do slap a like on the video. Obviously, that's the only way for me to know. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow, we will be back 7 o'clock again to preview the Manchester derby, of course, the FA Cup final. I'm potentially going to record it like a watch-along kind of thing. Just depending on the situation, we'll see what happens. But that aside, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you slap a like in the video. Obviously, get your comments in down below if you're watching this on repeat. Feel free to follow me on my socials, which is on the screen here. Usman Talks United, UTD, on Twitter and TikTok, which is where I post most of the time. Trying to post on Instagram as well, but obviously we'll see what happens regarding that. But nevertheless, thank you everyone for that has tuned in. Obviously, everyone that was watching repeat as well, thank you so much, especially if you're still watching it to this stage. You're a real one. I appreciate you. That's how it's been your boys, man. That has been your Manchester United.